Hi, and welcome back to another video feature of the Immersive Worlds Handbook. Today I'm back in Seattle, Washington, talking about what makes a multi-use space, or what makes a multi-use space great, or interesting, or evocative, or exciting for the guests, the residents, and the many others who become familiar with it. I'm at Via6 in Seattle, and this is an apartment complex as well as multi-use space that you will find just right around Lenora Street and 5th and 6th Streets. It's in between those two. And I discovered this while on vacation, also just doing some research in Seattle, and wanted to go here to eat, and I was really taken just with what they had going on here, and so I thought, why not share it with you? Now, if you're familiar with multi-use spaces, we're referring to, of course, a sharing of residential spaces, shops, restaurants, services of various sorts. This particular space, you could say, is not themed per se, but it's one that has, I believe, a very strong design aesthetic, sense of openness I'll talk about when you enter inside the space, and many other elements I think make it an excellent space that describes what we call a multi-use space. And so one of the features I tend to think about when we're talking about multi-use spaces is a variety of services, opportunities for guests and residents. So in this case, you have here, we took a meal at Tanaka-san, which is a really good Asian bistro, American Asian fare. Had some incredibly unique flavors. I guess it sounds like a plug for the restaurant. It sort of is, but it's also a statement that if you want to have, and you could see the design of it here, if you want to have, I think, a great multi-use space, you need to think about having quality restaurants people want to enjoy, not just the residents of the Via6 apartments, but people who might just happen to walk by. So here's a little bit of footage I shot while having a meal, and you can see that throughout this space. The second floor there we're going to look at later. Those are pool tables up there, some meeting spaces, some really nice artwork, comfortable seating areas. I don't have any imagery of the actual apartments, which I didn't get to go into, but there is a lounge, a viewing lounge below that residents can watch TV in and so forth. That looked kind of nice. But again, this is Tanaka-san, the restaurant. Just a nice approach to design. I think it's an opportunity to think more carefully about what are the types of things that guests want in a space. In this case, you want food, you want goods and services, and you also want comfortable seating areas to hang out in. Happen to know the apartments are very pet friendly, which is good for people who have pets. And so if you have a variety of opportunities for guests and residents to have an enjoyable space, obviously that makes for potentially a really good space. You have to have other things that go along with it, of course. It's not just one or two good restaurants. Up here, this is actually down right there, you could see that's the area where residents can sit and watch TV. There's a sign describing all the various services. I'm not going to show you today, unfortunately, Assembly Hall, but they have a breakfast place there. It's a coffee place, really good food. We're up on the second floor, and you're getting a view of Home Remedy right there, and that is a place that serves food as well, but it's more a convenience store, grocery store, but with a little bit more. So it has a lot of options for prepared foods that you can get, really decent foods as well, and has a very casual feel to it. There's a naturalness to me of the design of the space, of the layout. You see some of the artwork here on the second floor, just before the billiards, the pool tables, and I think one of the things I like about this overall space is there's an openness to it. It's wide open. There are nooks and crannies, but I think that they did a nice job in terms of not creating low ceilings, which to me give you that claustrophobic sense. And particularly on the first floor, you get this wide open feel when you come into one of the flower shops there, which is right here. You almost have this sense of you're not quite sure, am I in the flower shop, am I in the actual space itself? It's at times, I think, hard to define the space because of how they've differentiated it, or rather allowed things to flow together, I think, rather organically. So for me, that's a nice feature of a multi-use space like this. You see the restaurant Tanaka-san with their handmade dumpling bar that they're working on there, and So again, 3 restaurants, bike shop. You have this flower shop here. There's also I noticed a computer repair shop on site. Didn't get a chance to look at the actual apartments, but as an overall space, it was a very comfortable space, and one I think that could define, to some degree, the future of spaces like this, just because of its organic approach to design. You get a nice shot there of how wide open it is, and really welcoming as a guest when you enter the space. Not a lot of theming going on per se, design focus in terms of the restaurants themselves, but there isn't anything thematic drawing things together. And that's another reminder for us. I wouldn't say that a multi-use space always needs a theme. It would be a misnomer to say that. I think in a lot of cases you can avoid the theme and still have a space that's provocative, enjoyable, and entertaining to the guest or to the resident, in this case here at the Via6 apartments. So that concludes my video tour here today in Seattle, Washington. Hope you get a chance to come back for additional video features of the Immersive Worlds Handbook.